Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Life and Times of College. Without wasting any more time, let us just quickly get started with the first chapter of Cytology. Cytology is scientific discipline. This chapter tries to answer the question, is psychology even a science? But to answer this question, we need to begin with the question, what is a science? Because if we don't know what is science to begin with, how will we answer whether psychology fits in the criteria of science or not? This chapter goes on to explore the types of sciences. Science is divided into three main types: physical, biological, and social. Physical sciences, for example, physics, chemistry, they deal with formulas, laws. Biological sciences, the sciences which deal with and include biology, botany, etc. Last but definitely not the least, social sciences, which include psychology, economics, etc. Then the chapter goes on to explore features of science. The very first feature of science is empirical evidence. Empirical evidence is the evidence collected through observation. The second feature is objectivity. Objectivity means that during an observation or while conducting a case study or an experiment, any and every set prejudices need to be kept apart. There should not be any prejudice in the mind while doing a case study or making an observation, to make it more clear and easy to understand. Next feature is scientific causality. Science tries to establish cause and effect relationship between variables. For example, if A variable increases, does the B variable decrease, or there is no effect, what exactly happens? Next feature is systematic exploration. Science always explores things systematically, that is step by step. First step, second step, third step, so on and so forth. The next feature is replication. That is, if an experiment is conducted at, let us say, A place at around 2 p.m. So if the same experiment is conducted at B place at around, let us say, 9 a.m. in the morning, the results shouldn't vary. That's what the replication means. Last feature, predictability. Science, along with explaining the cause and effect relationship, also tries to predict the results. So yeah, that's what. Starting with the next topic, history of psychology as a science. We have studied last year that how psychology began as a branch of philosophy initially, and only when the first psychology laboratory was established by Sir William Wundt uh, in the University of Leipzig at Germany, psychology emerged as a separate discipline. Then further on, the topic goes on to state that Sir William Wundt and one of his students, they gave the method of introspection, and they emphasized upon consciousness, which led to emergence of structuralism. Further on, functionalism emerged. This theory was advocated by Sir William James, who is also widely known as father of American psychology. Sir William James emphasized upon the study of human consciousness, and the quite popular theory, Cyto Analysis. This theory was given by Dr. Sigmund Freud. He was an Austrian physician. He gave importance to study of human consciousness. Then comes the turning point in the history of psychology, emergence of behaviorism. This happened in early 20th century, so it is a latest development. This was given by Sir John B. Watson. He was an American psychologist. Behaviorism rejected both study of conscious and unconscious mind. It made psychology a more scientific discipline. After behaviorism, a humanistic perspective emerged. This happened in the second half of 20th century. This was done by Sir Carl Rogers. He also was an American psychologist. This school of thought stressed upon the study of power of free will, self-determination, self-actualization. That is quite close to what we are studying now in psychology. Emergence of cognitivism. This happened in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Cyto Analysis and behaviorism, both the theories were replaced by the new perspective, cognitivism. Sir Ulrich is generally considered as the founder of cognitivism, and this uses more scientific scans and latest tools such as MRI, PET scans to understand cognitivism. Cognitivism is the higher order and higher thinking order skills, perception, innovation, attention. All such skills fall under cognitive skills. The next topic is research methods in psychology. This is a very easy topic and there's nothing which can be elaborated upon. It in the textbook itself it is mentioned very clearly. The first method is experimental method. As the name suggests, experiments are conducted and observations are done to understand and study human behavior. In the textbook, steps involved in an experiment or while conducting an experiment are stated point-wise. The next method is survey method. This method is used for collecting data from a sample population to gain information about their opinions, preferences, etc. Features of survey method are that this is an economic and efficient method, and this is generally used by social psychologists, educational psychologists, and industrial psychologists. The third method is observation method. Observation method is further divided into two subtypes: natural observation and controlled observation. Natural observation is done in a natural setting, whereas controlled observation is made in a laboratory setting. Fourth method is case study method. Case study is a highly qualitative research method, and it studies the case in high depth and individual, be it for an individual, group, or a particular event. So this is very detailed method and study is done in highly qualitative manner. The last method included in the textbook is correlation studies. So as we studied in the feature of science, scientific causality, it explores cause and effect relation between two variables. So and that is nothing but correlation. Correlation is divided into three types: positive, negative, and zero correlation. In positive correlation, both the variables either increase or decrease at the same time. The value of a positive correlation ranges between 0 to +1. When it comes to negative correlation, when value of one variable increases, value of the other variable decreases, or vice versa. Value of a negative correlation ranges between 0 to 1. As the name suggests, in zero correlation, no effect happens on other variable. No significant effect is seen in the other variable when one variable sees an increase or a decrease, and its value is 0. Last topic of the chapter: challenges in establishing psychology as a science. In this topic, we try to fit psychology in the criteria, or rather the features of science, and explore what are the challenges psychology faces. And then this chapter gets concluded with the topic of rationality and its importance. This theory, rational emotive behavioral therapy, this theory was given by Dr. Albert Ellis, and according to him, rational people are psychologically more healthy and they possess certain characteristics. These characteristics are they understand their own interests as well as the social interest. So they are able to safeguard their own interest while they can also understand others' interests. They have a sense of self direction, they are more tolerant, they are flexible, and they possess self acceptance along with self responsibility. Dr. Albert Ellis further goes on to say that rational people are happy.